Ham radio gear that loves to go camping? That's what's coming up next on LCARA Ham Radio. Yes, folks, you saw it right. We made a tent for our equipment. In fact, we're going to be making 6 of these total for the crossband repeaters we're going to be using not only for the gravel rally. We talk about the gravel rally a lot, and the 2024 gravel rally is coming up soon, the end of April. But we plan to use any number of these units for other events throughout the year. There are times where we may only need 1 or 2 or 3, but they're just going to become club assets. So Brian, KY4BDP, came up with a generator cover, nice, simple, inexpensive, weather-resistant generator cover. We'll see more about that at the end of the video. And we just sort of took some measurements of the cover, went to Lowe's, picked up a hefty amount of PVC and elbows and T's and things, and went to work. And you can see we had a PVC cutter there, just a manual cutter. Worked just fine. We were working with 3/4 inch PVC. It's not too tough to work with, not too heavy. These things don't have to be all that heavy. Of course, nothing's going to be pressurized. It just is something to hold the cover up in case it is rainy and stuff on race day. Now, we've been really lucky the last 2 years of the race that we didn't really have any problems because we didn't have these tents. Now, the first year, it was mostly people in our vehicles with our mobile radios doing crossbanding, and that worked okay. But we really wanted to be able to use commercial equipment, heavy-duty equipment that was less prone to overheating or potential damage, and also using 2 radios to split the load between UHF and VHF. So that's what's led to this big project, creating all these crossband setups and everything. So yeah, we had a work day, and so we said, hey, let's work on these covers that we need. They're not going to be hard to put together. It's just a matter of, again, getting some supplies and then brainstorming for the design. And we did adjust the design as we got into building it. We kind of figured out, hey, we can build something plenty strong and use less material than our original design. Again, they don't have to be that heavy duty. And so we kind of got to work and just started measuring and cutting, taking our time. And we did, as we see here, and as we'll see at the end, we did get the first kind of prototype done. And really now it's just a matter of duplicating that 5 more times. We've got the covers, and we should have enough PVC material to finish out the next 5. Now, of course, we've got 7 of the crossband repeater kits, and that's purely so we can have 1 spare. The way the race works in this particular instance is there are, at least as we like to say, 3 zones, 3 areas within the county. So it's spread out a fair amount around the county. And so we're going to have 2 crossbands at each zone. And this way, we're not dependent in having to move equipment, which we have done in the past. But we really wanted to be able to just dedicate equipment to each zone. So we're not trying to move things around. Because as you can imagine, there are a lot of people running around the county and into these specific areas for the race. And we wanted to minimize that. And that improves safety and other aspects. So 6 of these for active use, and then 1 complete spare unit. But as far as these, these little tents, we didn't really need 7 of these. Excuse me. Now, if something comes up in the future and we decide we need all 7 of our kits in the field, we could pretty quickly put another one of these little tents together. We pretty much know the components and everything. So we're just going through here again. We were taking our time. We had measured the volume of this little cover, this generator cover. But even so, as we were building sort of the sides and the cross members, we kept kind of remeasuring, making sure we weren't misthinking about things. You measure, but then once you start putting on elbows and and T's and different things, that'll change your dimensions as far as what your straight pieces need to be. So we kept remeasuring, rechecking the fit of the cover, and made sure we weren't getting way off base or anything. And by going slowly and doing that, we really didn't have any real problems with it, and it came along very nicely. The glue we were using, we had the glue and we had the kind of the primer, the purple primer. We didn't really end up using the primer too much, but the glue, buddy, it was setting up fast. You had about 1.3 seconds to do this, but other than that, it was working fine. Now, when you look at this design right here, those cross members are just dry fit. So the two sides are basically glued together, but the cross members, there's 4 of those cross members. Those are simply dry fit, and we did that because we want to be able to break these down for much easier storage and transport and those kinds of things. So again, that was part of the design, is we wanted them to be inexpensive, lightweight, easy to fix or repair, and then also again, easy to store when we're not using these things. So they are going to be able to break down and store pretty nicely. Again, the cover's not too expensive. Again, we'll see that at the end, but they were around $20 a piece. And I think we're going to spray them with some additional rain guard like you use on tents and boots and things, especially the seams and stuff, just to help make sure they're in pretty good shape. Because the race is going to happen, rain or shine. Again, although we were lucky the last 2 years, we want to be prepared this year, because you know how it would work if we tried to count on that kind of luck. This year would be the year that we would have some rain. Plus, it'll also keep direct sunlight off of these, and you can see we made these plenty big and got that generator cover plenty big to make sure there was a decent volume of space inside. We don't want these things to overheat. Now, they're not going to produce tremendous amounts of heat, but of course they will produce some, and we want to give a decent volume in there. It'll also protect from small twigs and limbs falling, and leaves and other things from falling directly on the equipment. So it was really something we have been planning to do, even from the very beginning. Now here you can see we were kind of finishing up the framework, and we noticed that the top was laying pretty flat, even sagging a little bit. And AC4DM, our president, was looking at this. He said, "Well, hey, we could come up with some way to put kind of a bow in the top of that, so water would shed much more evenly and easily." And we got to think about it. Like, well, if we had some kind of strapping, or if we had maybe heavy duty wire. And then we thought, well, what about, do we have any wire coat hangers? You don't have wire coat hangers much anymore. They used to be so common, but we found some wire coat hanger, and it's just stiff enough wiring that we just kind of drilled, as you see, a couple of holes and bent and fit it, and it puts a nice simple bow to the top of this thing. And again, cheap and inexpensive, and again, something that, as you saw there, the way we put it in, it can be broken down and stored, but it'll put a little bit of a bow on the top of that just to help make sure the rain's going to roll off of that nice and easily and simply. So real fun little project. We knew it wasn't going to be something that was hard or anything, not super expensive considering we needed 5 of these, but it's just something we needed to do, and it was just a nice creative little project. And here, with just a little bit of string, we just kind of set it up to where those would have just a little tension on them, so they would stand nice and upright and wouldn't tend to flop over or anything like that. And so you're seeing it's about done. This is more or less about the finished project. And again, all we are going to need to do is get a few club members together and make 5 more of these, and we'll be good to go. Again, we've got all the covers, and should have more or less enough PVC. Might have to get an elbow or T or something or two, but I think we've got enough of the 10-foot links that we can pretty quickly make up 5 more of these, and we'll be ready to go for this year's race. We're really looking forward to it. We're really looking forward to using this new equipment, and just helping to provide the smoothest race possible. We want the organizers of the race, and then of course the actual contestants, we want them to concentrate on enjoying the race and enjoying the event and being safe at the same time, which is a big part of what having amateur radio for communications in these very backwoods areas is all about. So there's just a nice close-up of the WNATN generator cover. You can see it's 32 inches by 24 by 24, and that fits the roller case from Harbor Freight, as you saw, with plenty of spare room. And you see they're only about $20 each. So that'll wrap this one up, folks. This is Chris, KY4CKP, for Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association, 73.